Hey guys, all right, so let's talk about tips. This is the last kind of application of this kind that we're going to see the percent change. And I know when we think of tips, we often think of just going to restaurants, but there are other professions that do require, or it's nice to give a gratuity. That is another word for a tip. So I know when I go get my hair done or hair cut, you give a little tip to the hairdresser. When I get a car wash, those people that dry off the car, give those guys a tip. If you are moving, you have a moving company move stuff for you, give them a tip. And so there's a few of those out there other than just servers or waiters and waitresses. So in general, I feel like we're going to be talking about waiters and waitresses, but just sharing that fact. So this is going to go pretty quickly, like I said, because we have done this same process quite a few times. So let's talk about what types of tips you should give based on your service. There's kind of three main values that people will discuss when they talk about tips, and it's 10%, 15%, and 20%. So 10% is in general what you give if your service was okay. Maybe they weren't the most pleasant person. You could tell they were having a bad day, but it was fine, whatever. 15% would be, it was pretty great. I didn't really sit without water for too long. It was fine. And then 20% is the amazing, like above and beyond. She saw I was out of honey mustard and got me more honey mustard, whatever you can think of for giving an amazing tip, okay? Now, I thought it would just be interesting to see what do those tips look like if we use that same value for 10, 15, and 20. So I'm going to plug in that 108.15, 108.15, and all three of these. And we're going to do 20%, 15%, and 10%. All right. So I'm going to take this shortcut here and just type in 0.1. So I know you guys saw that on the warm up yesterday. Now I cannot write a dollar amount like that. So I'm going to write $10.82. Now, if I add 108.15 plus 10.82, I have a total of 118.97 as the total bill. If I wanted to do 15%, I get $16.22. That's cute. My house number was 1622 growing up at my parents' house. I miss those days. Don't grow up. It's a trap. All right, so my total bill is $124.37. Awesome. And then last but not least, I have $21.63 added to, add 5 cents to that. So $129.78. Go. Now, something you might have noticed or might not, I want to show you, technically, we could have taken 10% and doubled it to get our 20. You look, technically, if we took 1082, we'd get 2164 and not 63. So if you recall, we rounded this number. In fact, we rounded it up. So that's why it would be slightly different if we took this one and doubled versus going straight to that answer. So I know I've been doing a lot of those like spreadsheets where you're typing in the answer to see if it's right. Please make sure you're trying to use the exact amount to calculate it versus trying to use a proportion or equivalent fraction to scale it up. In most cases, that's actually okay. But the second you round, it gets very sketchy. So if you notice you have to round, I would drop it and leave it at that. Okay, hope that makes sense. So notice just like almost $11 difference, right? There. Okay. Now, other than using the percent to find the new amount or find the tip, we're going to now go backwards. We're going to find the percent of the tip. What is the percent tip and rating of service for each customer? So my tip amount, or excuse me, rate is what's missing. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that setup for all of these to make it faster. Okay, the original cost, I'm gonna go ahead and plug that in for all of these, $75.50, $6.62, and then $9.54. Okay, so now I need to find the amount of tip. And in this first example, this is like a little phone app. I know it doesn't, didn't copy well, but it had the, let's give them great service. Here's my $11.33 as my tip. So I'm going to assume, since it was great service, that it's probably 15%, but I can't make any assumptions. I'm going to divide in times. Now, when you do that, notice it's 15.006. There's like some change behind there. Remember, we rounded, or they rounded this probably a little bit. It probably wasn't perfect, 1133. So that's why there's that slight variance. So we just got to use that common sense to put it back to one of those that we know. So this person, yeah, did have great service. Okay. All right, now this one made me laugh when I found it online. So I was like, I have to put that on there. So what we need to do this time, because the person was too lazy to do it themselves, is find how much they've added on. So what I'm going to do is subtract those. And I'm going to do this in my head. 8 minus 6 is 2. Then I need to take away 60 more. I'm going to do 60 cents first. Then I'm going to take away 2 more. So if I have $2 minus 60 cents, that's 140. Minus 2 more cents, 138. Okay. I'm going to divide in times. Okay. 20.8. We'll do about 20. I'll put about 20%. Kind of doing a little bit more rounding than I want to, but since I said that in the beginning, we'll round to the nearest whole number. Okay. It's about 20% tip. So this guy had amazing, what did I use? Amazing service. All right. And then last one, again, that's all we get, math. So 15 minus 9, that's 6. Minus 50 cents, it's 5.50. Minus 4 more cents, 5.46. All right, divided by 954. Now look at this off the rocker percent. This guy was having clearly a really good time. Maybe a little bit of beverage intake to tip too high. Maybe he thought the waiter was cute, wants to ask her on a date. I don't know, but that's a massive tip. You are almost tipping the amount that you're closer to tipping the amount that you paid than nothing at all, right? It's pretty crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it about 57%. I'm not going to, why did I switch the side? The X is on. About 57%. I do love those stories though. I've seen them on social media where it's called Tip Your Bill. And it's something you do for, just people at Christmas time or during the holidays where you just surprise somebody. Because think about all the craziness that those waiters and waitresses deal with, like all the people with just rude habits or comments. Like I can't imagine the patience those people have. I'm not really sure how to categorize this tip. It's pretty, like, how was their service? It was like literally the best ever. Yeah, they're probably in love. Now down at the bottom, I really just wanted to take a second to talk about finding a tip mentally, because finding at the 10% of a number, I'm not sure if you've noticed the pattern, but all that really happens to find 10% of a number is you move that decimal over one space. So 10% is $1.55. And now if I wanted to find 20%, since I didn't have to round it, I could easily double that to $3.10. Right? So even if I wanted to find a discount, say of 40%, I could then multiply by 40 and find the discount. Right? There's all sorts of ways you can do that mentally. This one wouldn't be as easy mentally because you'd have to add 10% plus half of 10%. And this would be the one I'd have you guys try on your own if I weren't gone. But I'm going to add, I'm going to figure out what's half of 155. 78 cents rounded. Plus 150. Okay. 2.33. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm going to ask you to do a bunch of stuff mentally all of a sudden. I just think that that is a cool trick. You are no longer going to hear a teacher say that you're never going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket, because you do. Literally every day we all do. So you can always grab the calculator if you want. I just think those are some cool tricks. Remember, we're not meeting today, so you can just jump right over to that self-check sheet. Okay. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow.